Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FTS podcast, Friends Talking Shop. Omar, I do the intro. You remain silent until you're called upon.
No, wait, I have our theme song.
You can't even get through the intro. Can't even get through the intro.
Podcast. This is Friends Talking Shop. This is the FTS podcast, and we're all together talking shop.
Wow, yeah, you found a rhyme. Yeah, you found.
It's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Excellent. Well, let me just review for those who haven't listened to the podcast before, since it's very possible that's true, since we've only emailed this to less than 10 people across the world. This is a podcast. Well, first of all, I should introduce myself. I'm Dave, one of the hosts. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Oh, now we can step on each other's toes here. I'll go. I'm Josh. And that's your cue, Omar.
And I'm not the one, i.e. Dave, who picked the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I am Omar.
Josh picked the Rams. He's still in contention. You said the Super Bowl was going to be a disaster, so you are
controversy with Snoop Dogg
still in the running. Well, just to remind you, in case you've forgotten, this is a podcast where the three of us who have the answers to most things in life will approach three different topics that we've not discussed ahead of time. And we usually meander about until we figure out an answer to the said problem. And so far, we have 3 podcasts. We're 9 for 9, I think, in addressing and solving issues. And so
batting 100.
We are going
1,000.
Yeah. In baseball terms, we're batting 100. That's right.
Yeah.
So let's go first. We'll mix it up this week because my topic is more minor, and I got the sense that Omar, who is on his 4th glass of something or other.
Well, yeah, this is our first evening podcast, so it's kind of a big deal, and because it's evening, I've had 3 or 4 glasses of wine.
Okay.
But I think it's actually serendipitous because I received this package an hour ago. And the package, which the listeners can't see, it says "Adore Me" here for it. And I opened it. I don't know, my name's on here.
Well, yeah, that's how a package works. They have to put your name on there. They don't know where to deliver it.
But what's in here is lingerie.
What?
Yes, and I don't know who sent it.
Can you hold it up, please, so at least Dave and I can see it, and can you describe it for our audience? What you got exactly?
It's lavender colored and it's lacy.
But what is it?
I don't.
Is it underwear?
I think it's a bra. It's a bra and panties.
And it's addressed to you.
Yes, and I don't know who it came from, and I don't know. I'm scared to ask any of my, put the potential sentees if it's from them.
Is this a birdcage situation?
I don't know. I just don't know where it came from. But how would
you ever see the birdcage, Omar?
Do you know on the package where it has your name on the upper right, it might have a return address? Is there anything?
Omar is not familiar with mail.
Yeah, it's just open. Service. It's magically opened for him by somebody.
It's 100 Electric Avenue.
It's sent by Eddie Grant.
It's Secaucus, New Jersey. So I guess there's an Electric Avenue in Secaucus.
It's really Electric Avenue?
Yes, I swear to you. But maybe perhaps some mystery.
What's the brand of the lingerie, Omar? Can you share that with us?
I think the brand is Adore Me.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know.
That's bizarre.
So,
and the name says Alexandra Axon, and I don't know an Alexandra Axon.
Oh, that's weird.
If it's sent by an Alexander, I'm confused whether you're meant to wear it or meant to see it.
No, I've never worn lingerie. I've worn a women's dress before a few times, but that's for another time. But let me get to my topic, because I'm actually prepared.
That's not your topic?
No.
I once got like a bag of gummy penises in the worm. Do you remember when gummy worms, worm penises, whatever they're called? And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I had no clue who sent it to me. Still to this day, I have no clue who sent it to me.
It wasn't me. And I didn't send the lingerie either.
I don't know if I want it to be you or not. If it is you, I could, I've got a case here with our employer.
Yeah.
But if it's you, it's also a problem.
Yes, that's not me. I'm not sending anybody anything, so no worries.
So I have my topic. I'm very excited because I actually took Josh's recommendations from the previous weeks, and I took notes down when I had thoughts, which are very rare.
What's rare, the notes or the thoughts?
The thoughts. The thoughts.
That's what I thought.
So this is a very personal thing, actually. So it's a very important topic.
Ooh.
I'm really hoping you guys can help me out with how to think about this. So, or process it really. So I call it the Baker Mayfield paradox. And it is this. I despise Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He's for some reason on Allstate commercials, national commercials. He's probably the worst quarterback to ever have a national campaign or anything ever. He's also obnoxious, entitled, arrogant, cocky. Insert bad, insert pejorative, and you have it with him. And he's terrible. And so I want nothing more than for the Browns to cut him and to kick him out of the league and yet another Johnny Manziel. However, I'm a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. And if I was a real Baltimore Ravens fan, I should want the Browns to sign Baker Mayfield to a 10-year contract and to keep him there forever. Because, again,
That's correct.
He's awful. And even with the knowledge of this, I'm still unable to want the Browns to do anything else but kick him off the team. And so I'm thinking that this is the real reason, the real challenge for me being able to be a success in life and build a business. Because I'm so driven by emotion and vitriol and spite that I think I'm incapable of making decisions that can really be that are really necessary for me to grow myself, my business into something that's, can be the biggest and the most happy situation for me and my partners, employees.
Yeah.
I don't think I have what it takes. I thought that my friends like this who have their own companies, I've given them this parallel. They all choose the Browns signing Baker Mayfield to a 10-year contract. I can't get myself to say it out loud.
This is interesting. This is very interesting.
Yeah, I have some thoughts as well.
You want to go first?
It's interesting that I'm trying to think, how do we answer the question of the Baker Mayfield problem versus can Omar make it? Because I feel like one is more important than the other. But can Omar make it? Should we just quickly without?
Well, this is coming from a guy who's sitting in a luxurious house on the beach in Puerto Rico.
Open up lingerie.
Yes, who's opening up random lingerie
Yeah.
packages, worrying about if he made it. Yeah.
But here's how I see the question, though, is that you can't separate your emotions from like your mental decision-making process. It's sort of the left side, right side of your brain, sort of. I guess it's my thought on this is that when you can't sort of separate this out, you need to have a discipline to get this down on paper, a pros and cons list that you can be as emotional as you want about Baker Mayfield and then be as analytical as you can, but get this down on paper. Like your brain can't sort of sort through it because look, you're on your fourth glass of wine. How is your analytical side going to work its way through? You got to get this down on a pros and cons list, like on paper. And I think you can sort through then how to decide through this if you sort of have that process.
I'm going to draw an analogy. This is, and I don't want to get political, so I'm going to keep this as general as possible, but there is a political analogy to this. It's people who vote against their own best interests for extracurricular type of issues, maybe a social issue or what have you, but they vote against their own self-interest. Now, sometimes they do it because they don't realize that it's against their own self-interest. And sometimes they do it just because there's this emotional override that I think you're talking about. Now, I'm going to say that in one word. It's stupid. Okay? And I'm not calling you stupid.
What to vote against your interests?
to root or do something specifically to push forward a movement or something that actually ends up hurting you in the long run. And so this is funny because I just had this conversation with friends of mine about, and I'll give you the exact example. And I hope I didn't mention this in the first podcast. I don't think I did.
Because this has happened before.
Because this has happened before. We have a receiver on the Eagles named Jalen Rieger, okay? He was a first-round pick for us last year. He sucks, okay? He sucks. He can't play. And on top of that, receivers picked after him have just had 10, 15-fold the success that this guy's had, right?
Justin Jefferson, yeah.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson was picked the pick after. Anyway, by the Vikings.
Who's good?
Anyway, he's setting records. He's setting rookie records, and we're sitting with Jalen Rieger, who's averaging a half a catch and 7 yards a game. But here's the deal: I was at the Eagles-Giants game with my family, by the way, and they're announcing the offense, and they announced Jalen Rieger as a starter, and the whole crowd, boo, boo, and that's typical Philadelphia style. And there's a light bulb that went off in my head. I went, wait a second, we're booing this kid before he's even played a down this game. We are just destroying this kid's confidence. The whole stadium is destroying this kid's confidence. Now, look, some will make the argument, as my buddies have done, that, hey, Josh, that's who we are. And by the way, he's a professional athlete. He should have thick skin. He should just play the game and not let it bother him. But it's against our own self-interest to boo this kid because it just lowers his play. Potentially lowers his actual play. So that's what you're doing, Omar. You're letting your emotions override what's best for your actual happiness. So you have to take it a step further. It's not, do I hate Baker Mayfield and I don't want to see him in the league? It's, do I hate him enough that I'd rather see the Ravens potentially get an additional loss or two because of it?
Yeah,
and if that's put it in that framework, I think you'd come up with a different conclusion. Or am I wrong?
My performance coach said to me, I should either I came up with these answers, take a deep breath and walk, never make any decisions spot in the moment, but take time to think about it. Or what my other suggestion was, I should just remove myself from any decision making processes.
And call him at $100 an hour, and he'll help you process.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I find someone else
right into that one.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I agree with what you're saying, and I think that let me flip this to you guys. Have you ever made decisions that were driven by your emotions in the moment rather than what would have been the best decision?
Yeah,
you
never.
said in the moment. Yes, in the moment, of course, but this is not in the moment. You're still saying that you want them to cut him in the offseason.
Yeah, that's true.
This is not in the moment. Look, I hated Jason Garrett, the coach of the Cowboys, but I wanted him to stay coach of the Cowboys because he sucks. I want Mike McCarthy to stay in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Omar. If you did a pros cons of Baker Mayfield, what is a con of him leaving? Right? If he's gone, you're happy on one side, but
the Browns get a better quarterback who's cheaper and or better, yeah.
But he's still going to be in the league. He's still going to be somewhere else. You're still going to have the same heat for him. True. It's not going to make a difference. The only difference is if he's a backup somewhere, he's probably going to lose his advertising campaign. Which you're right about that, by the way. The craziest thing, when you still get talent to advertising revenue, there's probably no bigger imbalance in history than Baker Mayfield.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. That's a great question. Who has been the least significant heavy earner? Baker Mayfield is got to be.
I might have come up with one. I just thought of one real quick.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch was great.
Yeah, he's got a personality with him too. I think he's bigger than life a little bit.
But how about Bob Uecker? I don't remember how good he was.
Oh, now you're encroaching on my territory. He's a baseball announcer for Milwaukee Brewers.
But he played ball too.
Yeah. Yeah, he was terrible.
He was known as an announcer.
But he was also on a sitcom, so he was a little bit of a personality. Yeah. So all right, that one doesn't count.
Well, no one probably has made more of a poor sporting career than Bob Uecker has. That I agree with.
Yeah. Missed it by that much.
Yeah. But Bob Uecker had a big Bud Light or beer campaign. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, that's the line.
Yes, right.
That much, yeah. Or I must be in the front row. That's the one. But I guess I'm trying to think. If I guess one of the dangers though is, say, as bad as Baker Mayfield is, what if he beats Baltimore? Then Omar is doubly bad. Like, a guy he hates just beat his team. So, but I think that's rationally though, if you want your team to win more, right? And so therefore you want the other teams to have it as bad as possible.
Yes.
You want Baker Mayfield on the Browns.
You want him on the Browns. He's an average at best quarterback.
It's almost like it's a litmus test for me where I am in my life. When I get to the moment where I'm able to choose, the Ravens over Baker Mayfield, I really have what it takes to.
You've become a man. Yeah.
Are you a self-sabotage type of guy, Omar? You are with relationships.
I think that
we can vet that later.
I'm hypersensitive to doing anything driven by my ego, so I think that's usually a big driver of self-sabotaging. I don't think so professionally. I think if anything, I choose the path of least resistance to work with people who actually aren't annoying.
I think that's true. That's why this perplexes me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think he works with his emotions dialed down a bit, but as sports, his emotions are dialed up to 11, and as we all are. But I think in a situation where, I'm thinking like a coach for Minnesota or the Bears coach, Nagy for the Bears.
Yeah.
It's like, he's going to get fired. All Packers Twitter says is keep Nagy,
right.
I mean, we're all wanting him to stay.
Of course.
So, yeah, I think because, although I don't have this hate for Nagy that you may have for Baker Mayfield, I feel like there's more to this story. Has Baker Mayfield done anything to you outside of football?
No, maybe. I just still have a real problem with this entitlement and him thinking that he's owed something, and his attitude towards the press and towards inflating his own accomplishments and his always wanting the limelight.
Well, he lives in the stadium. It must be amazing. I mean,
yeah. But there's plenty of other quarterbacks who've accomplished a lot more than him, and a lot more like. Again, he's a poor man's Johnny Manziel. I've said it for years.
No. Stop right there.
No, it's true.
He is way better than Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
way better.
Like I said,
close.
A poor man's Johnny Manziel.
No, he's a rich man's Johnny Manziel.
Whatever.
Johnny Manziel is a poor man's Baker Mayfield.
Fine. He's a rich man's or middle class man's or woman's. a middle class.
No, they're both men. That's not sexist.
Johnny Manziel.
Well, I'm curious of who would you lump into the Baker Mayfield category of quarterbacks? I thought as bad as Ben Roethlisberger.
He was terrible this year.
It's got to be. I mean, he was more talented at his peak, but in terms of like a guy to dislike.
Wait. It's not even close. He's a Hall of Famer. It's not even close.
But in terms of hating a guy, I mean, this guy was a bad guy, right? I mean,
he assaulted a woman in a bathroom.
I never had any problem with Ben Roethlisberger's ethics. Or his barroom demeanor, and he was a warrior, like he was on the Steelers.
Yeah, I think Omar was accosted by Baker Mayfield in a bar.
Yeah, did Baker Mayfield touch your boy parts, Omar?
Have you seen this guy dance and like how much like I don't know, man. You guys don't you guys have young people who you see who like expect all this, what's it called? Adornment. Acknowledgement for
Ben
doing
Simmons.
Things. Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he's a big baby.
Maybe it's part of the old man syndrome I might be evolving into since I'm going to turn 50 soon.
You're just getting crotchety. This is a crotchety topic for you. It's a thorn in your side. You just can't get past the fact that Baker Mayfield's having some sort of success, whether that's financial or what have you.
But I think this is a bigger issue for him. Omar, you need to separate emotions from your logical decision-making process. You need to figure out a way to separate that out, because I believe if you believe that Baker is no good, you want him to stay with Cleveland. And
not only
whatever's getting in the way, you got to get rid of.
I'm going to go a step above you, Dave. Not only do you want him to stay with Cleveland, you want him to get more advertising campaigns, because that means that just inflates how people perceive his talent level. They put him at a higher level than he is just because of his notoriety and his, how much exposure he gets. He's probably overrated because of that. So if anything, you want more of that. So the Browns are delusional as to what they have at quarterback.
You guys agree with me, though, about him being in top 10 worst quarterbacks in the NFL?
Yes. I think he's bottom.
Well, there's a lot of bad quarterbacks. Top 10?
Yeah, but 10. There's 32 teams. So the bottom. Yeah, he's the best he is midway. Is 16.
Yeah,
that's the best.
I think half it below. Yeah, I bet you I could come up. I can't do it off the fly. I bet you I could pick 10 starting quarterbacks worse than Baker Mayfield. I think he is the cousin to Kirk Cousins. Actually, I don't know why I said
Kirk Cousins is better than Mayfield. He's better than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, for sure.
Much better.
Oh.
He's got no offensive line on in that team.
So
and still put up 300 a game.
Maybe in the future we'll have an all sports FTS, but not tonight.
All right. Well, mine won't be sports related, but Josh, you want to go with yours next?
Yeah, sure. Mine is sports related.
All
right. But
mine won't be.
It's really not sports related. It's sports is the platter per se.
Is this your segment?
No, it's not my segment actually.
Okay.
And this actually came to me last night. So I was all again teed up for something different, and then something happened last night where I got to thinking. I'm like, oh my god, this is interesting, and I'm wondering what you guys think of this. So this got me running. So last night I was up late and I was watching the Olympics. I love the Olympics. Okay, and they had on. What are you shaking your head for, Omar? I know the listeners can't see that, but it's in a very dismissive way.
Now you don't on his phone right now.
You don't like the Olympics, Omar?
No, I'm listening to you. Is it about the Jamaican bobsled team?
No, it's not. Oh God.
They do have a team this year, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I just told a bunch of people that Jamaica had a new bobsled team. If I'm wrong, I'm really embarrassed. But go ahead. You're watching the Olympics.
I think they're going to forgive you.
Omar's off his phone.
So if you watched it last night, they had the women's figure skating long dance or whatever the hell it is, right? And it's part of the team event. And the last one to go was this 15-year-old Russian girl. Okay, I don't know if you heard of her, but apparently everyone's talking about her. But she's phenomenal. She's like, they think she's going to be the best ever. But the one thing she can do that no other woman in all of international competition has done is
she can touch her nose with her tongue.
She can do that, but that is outside of figure skating, and the judges will not even count that as a skill, which I found weird. But what she could also do on the ice, she could do a quad jump. No woman could do a quad jump.
That's spinning 4 times in the
air. 4 times, right? And in fact, they were gushing on the men's guy, the U.S. Skater Nathan Chen, who does a quad jump. But no woman has ever done a quad jump. She did 3 of them in her routine last night. 15 years old, right? Phenomenal. So then I started thinking, oh my God, this is like when you remember when like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, field goal kickers, 50-yarder was like, oh my God, he hit a 50-yarder.
Yeah.
Everybody kicks a 50-yarder.
Tom Dempsey. What? He had the record for like 40 years.
He did. Yeah, that's true. He also had half a foot, so it's a little unfair. Yeah. You cut off your foot and made it a block at the end.
Yeah, did he cut it off absolutely square into a steel?
Listen, I can't prove it, but I'm tending to think he did it for football. But anyway, so I'm thinking, is it only a matter of time before every woman now is doing a quad jump? Just like every field goal kicker can easily kick a 50-yarder as if it was 20 years ago a 40-yarder. And so then I'm thinking,
is this tying into the whole like transition where a man becomes a woman kind of thing?
No.
Thank God.
No,
don't lead him. Don't.
It is not. Then I'm thinking, well, wait a second. When you watch like sprinters and you watch swimmers, every Olympics there's new world records, right? New world records every Olympics. And so I'm thinking, when does this stop? When is the maximum for the human body where they can't do more? Are we going to see 5 spins in 10 years in figure skating? Or when does the fastest guy become the human body can't get any faster?
Yeah.
I mean, will they do the 40-yard dash in 1 second eventually? I mean,
Josh,
do you see what I'm saying?
Josh, I turned
It seems
50.
perpetual.
I turned 50 in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Have you seen my body?
Okay, that's 2 different questions.
My point is that clearly
answers none of the questions we have.
That means nothing.
There has been a huge increase in the development of technologies. And
that's my point, Omar. When does it stop? At what point can the human body not spin 6 times in the air off skates?
Because logically, if you just extrapolate this,
yes,
some year from now, someone's going to do an 8 spin.
Yes.
And
like Mary Poppins did. Remember Mary Poppins did that? But I think that was camera tricks. I'm not sure, but I think it was camera tricks.
It is. At what point is there's no world records?
At what point?
You would think it might be in China where the air quality is poor. Like that would be a problem. But yeah, when is?
Well, I think that you inadvertently touched upon a deeper topic which we do not need to dive into, which is eventually there will be a male who transitions to be a female and competes.
No, you are completely so far off the mark of where I'm going with this. I'm saying, let me boil it down for you, Omar.
Okay.
When is the fastest guy not going to get any faster? When is that going to happen? Every Olympics, we have a new fastest man or fastest woman on Earth, and the time is
Ben Johnson.
That was, remember, he was on roids. Remember that Sports Illustrated cover with Ben Johnson with his ginormous bicep?
Who is it?
Bolt, isn't it Usain Bolt?
Usain Bolt?
No, Usain Bolt got beat. He's no longer the fastest.
You now?
Yeah, but the last Summer Olympics, there was someone who did it faster, whatever the hell the
Did they break the world record?
Yes. That's my point. It happens every Olympics. World records keep getting broken. Pole vault. Are we going to pole vault 20 feet?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. What about long jump? At what point can a human no longer jump a certain distance? I mean, what is the maximum distance the human body can eventually jump? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I think it's got to be drug induced because there was a time when, Barry Bonds was hitting more home runs than everyone and Lance Armstrong was just, and then you realized it's all drug enhancement performance.
Yeah.
So then I started to think if there is an outlier in any sport whatsoever, we've already hit that point. It's drug enhancement that's doing it. That's my theory.
But this 15-year-old Russian girl did not look like she was on steroids. Now, who knows? I don't know the answer to that. But she's 15 years old, and she's jumping 4 spins in the air.
It's got to be, well, maybe she was raised in a test tube in a laboratory that, but the answer is technology. When the technology no longer can do it, whatever that is, then you hit the end of world records. But it's not the human body is evolving. I think
interesting.
I think technology.
So what about field goal kickers? Do you think 60-yarders will be the norm?
Well, we're not there now. Well,
no, we're not there now. We're not there now. Will 60-yarders be like a 50-yarder in 15 years?
Yeah. I think because also the money they can make is a lot higher than it was 5-10 years ago.
What does that have to do with anything?
It means that you could raise your kid to be a field goal kicker like Todd Marinovich was, robo quarterback. Remember him?
Yes, he was a bust.
Crackhead too.
Yeah.
Hey, David, speaking of crack, I did some crackpot research, and Joshua was wrong. Usain Bolt is still the world record holder.
Okay, whatever. You know what I'm talking
could have said
about.
that I was right, you meant.
Oh.
You could have gone that direction.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I guess I agree with you, Josh. It's true. There's always a world record broken all the time.
I think it's
the time.
Technology. I think as long as we keep breakthroughs on training, eating, something, we'll have world records until.
Does it also apply to Kobayashi and hot dog eating contest?
Yeah, that's insane. When will that record keeps getting broken?
Yeah.
What are you gonna eat 1,000 hot dogs in 2084? Someone's gonna eat 1,000 hot dogs?
Well, you know what records might not be broke is longevity records because the technology actually hurts the body ultimately. So you can hit it further, but you can't play longer. So what Cal Ripken one
How
be.
about-
Don't get me started on that record. That is the biggest bullshit record
right.
in all sports.
Hey, don't knock Cal Ripken. But
Biggest
like Tom Brady,
bullshit record in all of sports is the Cal Ripken
James.
endurance record.
LeBron James, Tom Brady are doing this actively. We have to add that in 2 sports, and they're still peaking.
Well, how about Brett Favre? Brett Favre starting, his starting streak will stand for a long time because quarterbacks are going to do better, throw better, do more, but it's going to cause them more injury.
I thought Eli Manning had that record.
Oh man, that.
Or maybe
I've already.
Maybe it's Usain Bolt. Is it Usain Bolt?
But there are other reasons for that record not to be broken. Is there also the backup quarterbacks are way better than they used to be, and and guys
are hurt. They're hurt all the time, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Well, the injuries, yeah, of course. But even if there's no injuries, I mean, there's all sorts of rationale for why it might not happen.
But I think that as the technology pushes them to be better, faster, stronger, I think it also reduces the longevity record. So I think we've already hit longevity records. Many of those will not be broken.
Yes,
I think.
I agree with you on that. But the other records just continue to get beat, and that's what's perplexing to me. I don't know what's going to happen. A human being can't kick a 75-yard field goal, but maybe a human being will kick a 75-yard field goal 20 years from now. I don't know.
I think that's right.
Which sport do you think is the most likely to be the first sport to have someone die during the competition?
Boxing. It's already happened.
The next sport?
UFC. That's easy.
Yeah, you could be. What about the fans sitting in baseball games? Have you ever seen anyone get hit in the head with a baseball
Yes.
in baseball games? How barbaric is that we used to not have fences up or
no nets behind the plate.
Yeah.
Behind the plate.
What were we thinking? Yeah, how long ago was that we had no protection? I thought we had behind the plate, but
hockey goalies didn't wear masks. Did you see that footage? That is insane.
Yeah. Well, I see golfers too stand, like you'll see Tiger Woods lined up back in the day, and the people are lined up what seems like 20 yards, in a very narrow line, in front of the ball. If I was to play professional golf, I mean, I almost killed someone playing on Saturday who was on the next screen.
Yeah, he did.
It was my first driver. Well, and my defense, so this isn't my topic, but Omar and I golfed on Saturday, and we have a tee time of 12:25. All right. At 12:15, Omar and the rest of his crew are trying on different outfits in the clubhouse.
Like rappers.
Like this was the purpose of the day. And then Omar comes out and says, "I am hungry. Can we get something to eat?" Well, sir, it's 2:23. Your tea time's at 2:25. And Omar literally says, "We have time then." And I had to say, "No, we don't have time. We need to go." Oh my God. I had to set the bags in the cart. Yeah, it was
like a child. He's a child.
It's a grown child.
Yes.
All right, you ready for my topic?
Yes.
All right.
I want it.
So this week I was down in Florida and stayed at a hotel, and sometimes they have food out, to either in the fridge or in some kind of, they'll have a bar in the fridge, and sometimes they'll have candy bars and stuff out.
What do you mean, in your room or the lobby?
In the room.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yep. So you have stuff to eat, and usually it's overcharged because I'm so hungry, and so you'll pay $7 for a Snickers bar.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Right there.
Crazy.
Right?
Yep.
Well, in this room, they had a glass jar filled with 3 different things. I think it was some kind of nuts. They had goldfish, and they had chocolate mothballs. Is that what's the
malt? Not mothballs.
Yes,
mothballs are gross.
Why would they put chocolate mothballs?
Why would they make them chocolate?
Crazy, yeah.
And this was was this in one jar, or this was a tri-jar where they had a separate
tri-jar?
No, separate jars. 3 separate jars.
Yeah, you said it so matter of fact, Omar, and you were wrong. 3 jars.
So I walk in, and man, I was hungry, and I just chocolate. So I ate some right away. I ate the first jar. I ate the whole thing.
Now, is the jar? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does the jar have a lock of some sort on it?
No.
Or it's a regular glass jar. You just lift
or
the lid.
Label.
You just lift the lid. Right. Take a chocolate mothball and put that in your face.
In my pie hole, and
in your pie hole.
And then you can decide to eat another. Right. So the first night I ate all of them, and it was there could have been like
wait. All the peanuts, malt balls, and
no, yes, all the chocolate malted balls. Like, yeah,
you ate the
there are
balls.
Like 15 of them in this jar, right?
That's
and
it? Only 15?
Yeah, it was just, it wasn't like a coffee can jar. It was a jar that could hold 15.
Like a candy dish.
With
a lid.
With a lid. Yes.
With a lid.
So when I got in, I left, and when I came in the next day, the jar was full again.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they filled it in. So this time I was like, I ate way too many. That's so terrible. So I ate like 4 of them.
Okay. All right.
Then I leave. I come back the next day. Next day I come back and it's full again.
Wait. You noticed it went from 15 to 11 back to 15?
Well, so I don't know if I ate exactly 4. I ate enough to make sure that the distance between the top, it was definitely noticeably down. And when I got back, it was back to the top.
Did you eat them because you wanted to see if they'd fill it up, or because you actually wanted to?
No, no thought behind this whatsoever.
Okay, you just ate them.
But then I realized, oh my gosh, they are filling them up to the top every time, no matter how many I'm taking. So the next night I had 2.
Two.
I didn't count them, but I felt that they refilled 2. Okay. So now I'm thinking, like, are they ever changing them, when their people leave the room? Like, if I ate 2 and checked out,
ooh, good question.
Are they leaving the rest and adding 2, putting the jar back on and leaving, or do they just dump them all out?
No.
Because you got to clean those jars, right?
No, there's no way they dump them out. You are eating feces from the last person.
No. If you go below 2,
you're eating the previous guest.
Feces is on the remote control.
And pee-pee.
If you go below 2, there's definitely some.
But you don't lick the remote control.
Because you can't reach one without touching the others. Like you.
Can I ask you something? Because I thought you were going to go a different way with this. Did they charge you for the mothballs?
I'm not sure. I have to check my bill to see, because
I thought that's what you were going to go with this. I thought that's what you were going to say. Like, they charged me for eating 2 malt balls day 3.
So there's no seal on these. It's just a thing.
No, it is.
It's like your grandmother's candy dish.
Were you staying at like a Holiday Inn Express? Where were you staying?
It was it was a nice enough hotel that I'm thinking.
But there was a lock at the door?
I don't know. I had to keep it open to the guy I didn't know. He slept in the bed next to me.
It was a youth hostel.
Yeah. No, it's a very nice hotel. So I figured it was clean. Like, they cleaned the jar. These are new chocolate malted wait, what are they called? They're
malt balls. Malt, not malt balls.
Okay, malted is not. Chocolate malt balls. Thank you. That I figured I could eat them. They're clean. But then I realized they're filling them halfway. They're not like taking out, cleaning it, putting a whole new one in. They're saving.
Josh,
so
Dave eats these mothballs, as you call them.
Yes.
Do you think he's washing his hands after he eats them, or do you think he goes right to bed?
No, and that's the other thing, by the way. When you eat malt balls, you don't just pop them in your mouth. Part of your finger touches your lips, and then you go right back in the thing to get more.
Right.
And that inevitably gets on a different ball that you didn't eat, that the next guy's going to eat.
I think this is the origin of COVID. We just figured it out.
This is what happens.
Bats. It was these mothballs. It was moths.
Malt balls. Yes, I'll get that right there.
What's the brand of that? Because I love those. What's the brand? Whoppers.
There's no
Whoppers.
brand.
Yeah, they're Whoppers. They're called Whoppers.
Oh, those. Yeah, if you buy them in a package.
Yeah.
So this wasn't a package of Whoppers that was sitting on the desk that you could just open and.
I get it. But that's why they put them in a package.
Well, and the other jar was goldfish.
Yeah,
so
that's weird. You
could just grab a handful of goldfish, and I didn't take them, but same kind of thing. They would fill. It was halfway down. They would fill out. But they must, when you check out, dump out or donate them to the local food pantry.
I'm going to go a step further, Dave. Not only are you eating someone else's feces, but you the guy who's there before, they don't just leave them on the counter. They take that shit to the bed with them, put it right on their junk, and put on the TV, and then reach their hand in there and just slobber all over that malt ball concoction that you.
Well, so what? You won't touch anything in a hotel room, though, don't?
Hell no! I'm not eating loose malt balls in a hotel room.
Well, that may be an extreme. No, I learned.
I have a phenomenal idea. All right. We've been getting lots of reader mail, and the sponsor money is going to start rolling in pretty soon.
It's only a matter of time.
And we've been thinking about ways to use that money. At least I have. And I just had an idea, an epiphany. This is brilliant. We're going to have our sponsor dollars that very soon will be rolling in, and we're going to use them to book a trip. And Josh, Dave, and I are going to stay in this fucking hotel, and I'm going to get a camera, and we're going to videotape what happens with these mothballs.
That's a really good idea. Like get one of those teddy bears with a camera on it.
Yep. That was a long way to go for that, but yeah, I would like to see what happens with what they do, what their policy is. Have you ever gone on like Yelp or something for that hotel to see what people say in the comments, if anyone comments on the mothballs? Or
this is a hotel that if you went on the Yelp, it would be describing your golf experience, like your spa. This had a resort in the name, so this wasn't like a.
Did you ever Google the name with
a Holiday Inn resort? I guess you could. It was a very nice hotel.
It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that policy is utterly ridiculous. I know it probably looks nice and fancy that they put these loose balls, so you're like, oh wow, this is nice.
Cut costs, man. They all are.
And I bet you they didn't charge you for them. I bet you didn't get charged for that.
I think the moral of the story is Erickson clearly has to travel around with his own mothballs.
No. Can I ask something?
I will now.
And any time in the subsequent 24 to 72 hours, did you have explosive diarrhea?
I have not, which says something I guess about me. But
yeah.
I also can eat a Taco Bell and it doesn't faze me. Is that good?
You might have a great constitution. See, if I went in there and did it, it might be just it's awful.
Here's another thing. I've never gotten COVID, even though I think I've been exposed all the time. So I think I may have a super health system that can reject all germs.
Yeah.
And the mothballs,
Whoppers. Call them Whoppers.
My Whoppers don't affect me. My feces-ridden Whoppers are totally fine.
By the way, what came first, the Burger King Whopper or the Candy Whopper, and why are they not suing each other?
They may be owned by the same company. Who knows? That
I don't think Burger King is doing well.
Is that
anyone
a yum?
You know anyone that goes to Burger King? I don't think I've been to Burger King since I was 4 years old.
Yeah, I think
no one goes to Burger King.
Burger King is in the same vein as Long John Silver's and White Castle. I think those are.
Yes, and 7-Eleven. I don't know who goes into a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm biased because we have Wawa's here. No one will touch a 7-Eleven in Philadelphia. But 7-Eleven, I think, is the biggest convenience store in the entire world. But yet I know no one that ever says, I just went to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about these are socioeconomic issues too, right?
No, they're not, because I'm talking about. I know plenty of people go to McDonald's.
Yeah, White Castle and Taco Bell are the same socioeconomic.
Yeah, Taco Bell. I know plenty of people go to Taco Bell.
But 7-Elevens are in much more. They're not in affluent areas as much as like.
I didn't ask who goes to a check cashing place.
Well, I don't think the correlation is that far off.
I think Omar just called you out on elitism.
I think he did.
There. Yeah.
But
I think you.
But I'm playing the brown card right now.
Again, from the guy living in a plush Puerto Rican beachside estate is playing the brown card.
Josh, there's an announcement we wanted to make. I wanted to make it. Dave and I talked about this. We're gonna have our first live FTS.
Ooh.
In October.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all I want to say for now, but it's in the works.
That's in the profession. We call that a tease.
Yeah.
That's a podcast staple that very good, Omar, that you.
And normally we run it by everyone involved first. Yeah. But that's okay. That's all right.
That you should. There are a lot of things we should do. All right. Well, that was my topic. I don't know if we solved anything other than I shouldn't.
Yeah, we did. Do not eat loose food of any kind.
Well, can I just ask you a quick question? Then?
Yes.
I shouldn't eat the food that's unpacked.
No, not in a public forum.
What about touching the remote control? Do you put it in a baggie?
No, you wipe it down. I wipe it down first. Wipe it down because you need the remote. You have to use the remote. Although I use a Roku stick when I go to, so I use my own remote that I bring.
What about, do you only let the sheets touch you?
Correct. That top comforter you get off immediately and you throw it into the corner. That is filled with DNA, the likes you've never seen.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey guys.
I'm feeling it all three.
I'm leaving for LA on Friday for the Super Bowl.
And nice. So, very nice.
I have an incredible topic that's Super Bowl specific.
That we'll have to save for next time.
What are you doing?
For next time. I'm not going to say it right now, but I'm saying for next time.
You were about to.
No, I wasn't. I was just teasing it. It's a phenomenal story.
See, that's another tease.
Hopefully we record this before. Whether we record next one before or after the Super Bowl coming up in a few days, I will share the one with you. It's a good one.
Well,
all right. Okay.
Let's wrap up on that note. Do we want to predict who we think will win the Super Bowl now that we've been so good at predicting? Are you stick with your Rams, Josh?
I'm staying with the Rams. I think Rams are going to take it.
Bengals.
I'm going to go Bengals as well.
Wow.
Can I say one last thing? I play golf with Erickson. He just mentioned it. And on the last hole, the team we were playing hit a ridiculous tin cup like shot onto the green.
Is that right?
We had to do the same in order to compete, and I knew that I did not have it in me. I'm just not that kind of a player. If there's water around anywhere, I'm gonna hit it into it every time. And this David, he got up there and he stuck it even closer.
Is that right?
I did.
Right?
I was falling apart too.
Like 170 yards, Josh. It was crazy. On
that 18th hole at the Masters, on an island.
That's what it was. It was surrounded by water.
It was the most impressive feat I've ever seen any of my friends perform around me in any sport.
Yeah. What does that say about your friends and their athletic ability?
You don't need to mention that. You just need to when you tell this story, you need to start off by saying, do you want to know the most impressive thing I've seen my friends do at a sporting event? Okay. Let me tell you about Dave. That's how you start that story.
I played golf with both of you, and I don't believe that story for 1 second.
Yeah, well, I did not impress the whole day. That's certainly true. But I need pressure. I'm a pressure player.
Oh God.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up episode 4. This is one where I will probably put an E for
effort.
Yeah, always an E for effort. Yeah. I think we touched on some topics that are questionable at best, but I think I think we're getting into our groove. All we need is someone to host this thing and some music, and we are golden.
And some people to comment in a funny way. That'd be
and
great.
An audience. Yeah, we're so close to it being a real podcast. All right. Well, on behalf of Josh, Omar, and Dave, we hope you have a great Super Bowl week, and talk to you during episode 5.
See ya.